finished book means nothing if it never transformed, changed your thinking. There's actually a pressure around reading books, and I think that's why most people now tend to go into reading without liking it, without any plan or any future objectives of why they are reading. Not every book deserves to be finished. Sometimes one paragraph can transform you. That reading should support life, not replace living. Sometimes in life, it's not necessarily that we just should, perform growth. It's important to be honest with ourselves. I used to think that smart people finish books. But lately, smart people finish books, meaning if you start a book, you have to finish it. But lately I've really been thinking and asking myself, is that actually a fact? Is it a fact that when you start a book, you have to finish it? You have to go to the end? And are we really reading for a show or for transformation? Are we reading for appearance or transformation? Now, if you think about it honestly, some books have changed my life. They have changed your life. But some others, not really. You just force yourself to finish them. And so, is it necessary to finish books? That's what I'm trying to think about today. And I hope that by the end of this podcast episode, you will also have a clear picture with me. We will learn something together about the essence of reading books. Are we reading for transformation? Are we reading for appearance? Now, why did this thought come to my head? Why did this thought come across my head? Well, I've been seeing a lot online that there are many things, there are many challenges, right? There's something like, let's say you have to read this amount of books in a certain number, or you have to read this book, the must-read books. And I'm just wondering, a must-read book for you might not necessarily be a must-read book for me. And so I thought, I also saw this part where people, talk about mostly reading book cover to cover. And I'm not so sure if reading cover to cover is necessarily equals to transformation. And so this is why I thought I should talk about this topic today. So what is the actual purpose of reading? Now, let's start breaking down slowly. What is the actual purpose of reading? Reading, you might read for transformation. You might read for trying to find answers to a particular issue that you have at the moment, particular need that you have at the moment. You might be reading for pleasure. You might just be reading for pleasure just to keep your brain active and all that. You might be reading for pleasure and entertainment, they're the same thing. If you decide to read novels or sci-fi or something like that, these are genres. Yeah, these are categories that do not necessarily have, could necessarily mean or equal to, there's a hidden message or there's a lesson to be learned or something like that. It could just be for entertainment purposes. And you could be reading as well to improve on a certain particular skill, like you're reading books that can help you with marketing, sales, and all that. This particular type of reading is for improvement of a specific skill. Now, all I know from all of this is that a finished book means nothing if it never transformed, changed your thinking. A finished book means nothing if it never changed your thinking. So you're getting a picture that reading is sometimes just for the sake of changing the way we think about life, the way we think about circumstances, the way we think about the challenges that we are facing, the way we see the world. So if you're reading and continuously reading, bulking up books, but yet there's no transformation in your life, then I don't think that there's an impact of the reading. the reading doesn't have an impact. And so there's a there's actually a pressure around reading books, and I think that's why most people now tend to go into reading without even necessarily liking it, without any plan or any like future objectives of why they are reading. They do not have a goal, and I feel like that comes a long way. It comes from the society around us. It comes from the environments. It comes from the environments like, let's say, the first thing that I've seen is like reading as a status, whereby if you're not reading, you might probably be seen as not intellectually good, like not smart enough and all that. And so reading becomes a thing, a symbol, just same as, someone who has at least a PhD or an education, any kind of accolade, maybe because you have to study and all that. But reading has become like a symbol, like someone who is reading is kind of elevated, right? So it is a status quo, a good reader. So that brings about pressure into people reading, into me maybe trying to read a lot because maybe I want to catch up. And I'm just saying me because I do not want to refer to you. Probably it's not applicable on your end, but this is one of the pressures that leads people to just go randomly reading, not necessarily attaining any change, but just reading. And the other thing is like there's a challenge that I've been seeing. It is trending. It's 100 days, 100 no, not 100, 100 books per year, 100 books a year. I think this kind of a challenge, or is it a challenge or uh, a status, or is it a culture, something like that, whereby it's like you are challenged to read 100 books throughout the year, and it's like you have to read these 100 books cover to cover. And if you maybe if you don't partake in this challenge, maybe you're not very good at reading. But anyways, there's this kind of a thing which can also lead people to see as if I should read, even not necessarily just because I saw this challenge online and I must do it. It's a culture. So 100 books a year, and it's like you have to read. And this is one of the pressures. This is one of the challenges. And another thing is, just buying books instead of applying them, instead of applying the ideas that you have. It's just like, I want to buy books so that they can be seen behind me on my bookshelf, instead of really buying solutions, buying ideas. Like you're buying this book for the idea that it carries because you want to apply it. And instead, we're just buying the materials. Another thing is like, I think it's just addiction. I think some people are just addicted to books, to reading or something like that. And these people can somehow maybe, show it, make others feel like it is not, but actually you are just a fan of reading. You're just addicted to reading. That's just your thing, and you want everybody to be the same. And I think that creates pressure to the people around. And the other thing is uh, somehow creating the intellectual image. Now, this is same as the status, but it's just different. Like people nowadays, I think with the expanse of social media, the deep integration of social media into our lives, I think some people just want to be seen as intellectuals, just because showcasing books, that you're reading a lot of books, or whatever. Then it becomes like a banner that you can carry as being intellectually good. So these books, there's the pressure that they create is intellectual image building. Now, this is not building your intellect. This is intellectual image, the image of you being an intellect, but not necessarily you being an intellect. Another thing is or book aesthetics. We have these accounts on Instagram or whatever or wherever, and they're just posting about books, right? And some people adopt, and for the sake of social media, they have to post, this is the book they're reading, or this is the environment that they are reading in, and all that. It's all about aesthetics. It's all about social media-ish kind of a vibe, and all of these are the things that are causing people to I think most people to go into reading blindly and to just engage with reading blindly without really knowing that reading is for the sake of transformation. And now, what is I think I have a current view on reading. I have a current perception on reading, which is the first thing is I no longer just read every book or believe every book deserves to be finished. I no longer just decide to go cover to cover on each book. And disclaimer here, I'm not trying to say that reading is bad or however, trying, even if you're not good at it, but trying and using social media or something to improve your reading is bad. All I'm talking about here is the aspect that we tend to misuse the essence of reading for knowledge or for transformation, and begin to use reading or the aspect of just reading books for other purposes, which kind of isn't the goal that was set. And so my first belief right now is that not every book deserves to be finished. I'm saying this because some books you can just read a couple of pages or a couple of chapters, and you have got the idea or you have got the lesson that you needed to take away from that book specifically. So I don't think I try to finish every book cover to cover, but interestingly, I try to remember every detail that I read in a book, every general lesson or every particular lesson I read from a book. And once it serves that purpose, I think I have the ability to put it down and move to the next or apply the lessons that I've got. Another thing is some books are seasonal. A book might speak to you right now, might be speaking to you right now, but it might not speak to you in the future. So let's say the Blueprint of You, my book, yeah. If it might be speaking to you right now, and it might be very, very useful right now, but there's a stage in life or there's a point in time that it might not necessarily be applicable to you, and it doesn't mean that you still have to drag it along, or you still have to push yourself, or maybe you're in a season in life that doesn't really want to read about personal development stuff. It doesn't need to read about maybe faith related books, or it doesn't you're in a space in life that does not require you to do that. And so I think that season in life should particularly match the type of a book that you're reading. And another thing is, sometimes one paragraph can transform you. Sometimes just a single paragraph from a book can change you. I remember there's this one book called Mind Voice by Nicholas Epley, and I remember the whole content of the book, what it was talking about. But there's this one particular phrase that is even used to market the book, is like, why we misunderstand others, why we misunderstand others in a way that we think we are right, but yet we misunderstand others. We judge others based on our perception. And from that phrase itself, you could get the whole lesson of the book, or you could get the lesson that was intended for you. And I saw that means a paragraph could definitely speak to you. And if it does, good job. If it does, it has done its job. Another thing is a paragraph. A paragraph can help you shift direction. It can help you change. It's enough to change your direction. And another thing is that reading should support life, not replace living. And I've written this. These are my favorite takeaways from all my reading. I think reading should not be the essence of you're replacing living or doing other things in life because you're saying that you're just reading, or you have a book to finish, and yet you try to hunt life all around. So reading should actually empower life. This is what I'm thinking. Reading should empower your life. Like, if I am reading right now, I believe that reading should be able to improve my relationships. It should be able to contribute somehow to my maybe financial stability. It should be able to contribute to my organizational or project management skills. It should be able to contribute to my faith. So the types of readings that I do should be, I think, along this line. They should be empowering my life along this line. If it is an area that I need to improve on in my life, I think reading in that direction helps or kind of brings empowerment to my life. Another thing is slowly, I don't know how to say this, a slowly reading or a slowly absorbed book is better than 10 fast ones. 10 read, like I don't know, but the point is, if you are able to read one book slowly, but get all the lessons from it, then it's better than reading 10 books as quick as possible. So a slowly absorbed one book is better than 10 fast ones. A slowly absorbed book, one just single book, is better than 10 fast ones. If you're able to read one book, gain lessons, take notes, apply it, I think it's better than reading 10 books without like literally having, after you're finished reading, you don't remember what you have read. You don't remember anything. That is worse. It's better that we are reading one book, but we are gaining outstanding lessons from it. So that's my take on that. I think it's better to read one book slowly than reading 10 books as quick as possible, and yet you cannot remember. Our lives have not been transformed. There's no lesson that we got from it. And today's podcast is just not just about books. It's about life in general. Right now, there's too much information on our fingertips. There's a lot of information on our fingertips. But the question is, are we learning or are we performing growth? Are we learning in life or performing growth? Are we consuming or are we applying? Are we building wisdom or are we collecting? Are we just collecting information? Because everything that you need right now is there. But the question that comes and that is critical right now is there any transformation that is happening but after you have read a book, after you have seen a particular information, after you have gone through a particular carousel of information, a particular video on Instagram? Did you try to apply it? Or is it that we're just accumulating and we are not applying it? Or if we are listening to advice, are we just listening, just receiving, just building wisdom instead of collecting? Or are we like literally just collecting the information, or are we building wisdom from the information that we are receiving, from the advice that we are receiving? And this just makes me wonder and makes me realize that it is important to learn. It is important to learn. It is important to learn. If it is a book that you're reading, make sure that it is somehow speaking to you. It is somehow inspiring change. It is somehow applicable. Now, in the last episode, there's an episode where I talked about the mastermind principle. In that episode I think 10 or 11, 10. Episode 10, I talked about the mastermind group, the mastermind principle. And that mastermind principle, I first came across it from Think and Grow Rich. Now, that book itself, I didn't finish the book of Think and Grow Rich, but I got that lesson. I got many other lessons from the book. And I think with that itself, me being able to apply the mastermind principle in my life, or me being able to, from the thing, just being able to write down my goal, maybe after that I will look at, I have to work towards until 2050 or something. If I'm able to do that, to get that from the book, I think the book has served its purpose. If I'm able to learn, I'm able to be transformed, I'm able to apply, then the book has served its purpose. And that just clearly tells us that sometimes in life, it's not necessarily that we just should, perform growth. It's important to be honest with ourselves. It's important to be able to try to seek transformation even away from the spotlight. Imagine if you're not on social media and nobody is complimenting about your work, but you keep on doing it. You keep on showing up. You keep on learning. You keep on improving. I think that's the worst. That's that's the best thing that we could do, to improve on ourselves even when no one is watching. keep on improving, keep on building, even when no one is watching. And we should continue to accumulate wisdom, build wisdom, not just collect information. And we should run away from the consumption, only consuming, to a culture of applying, that we are able to now apply the knowledge that we are seeing across either social media, either books, either printed materials, wherever you get your knowledge from, podcasts or something, be able to apply. So that's my thinking for today. I don't know if, do not know if the episode has spoke to you or it has not. I do not know. But if it has, then it has done its job. It has accomplished its purpose for today. And that is to say, books are worth the investment, but only if they are bringing transformation. This is the SelfSeed podcast. This is the Constructive Journal by the SelfSeed podcast. And I'm just going through my head, reflecting on some things. And I think in today's episode, I have reflected enough about my book, about any book, about the importance of just reading books, not just reading them, but knowing when to stop, knowing how to do it. So until next time, keep growing, keep reading, keep improving. And I hope you found this valuable. If you found it valuable, then you can share it with anyone else that deserves to hear this. See ya.